So, as David was saying, there's time for questions at the end. Write them down, or if you feel like you're going to forget, use the wee chat box that we have on Zoom, and we'll answer those at the end as well. But for now, let's just get started. So this is just our wee guide to inventories. I'll take you through the slides, and I'm sure if I miss anything, David will jump in. So we'll just get started. Maybes. We're not going to. Hang on a second. There we go. So what is an inventory? So it is a key document. So if you do come through adjudication, the adjudicator will look for three main documents, and that is your tenancy agreement, your check-in, and your check-out. So the inventory is a very important document, and everybody should take the time to do it. It is a key document when it comes to adjudication because it can prove any deterioration that has taken place over the course of the tenancy. So that is why we always say that detail is key. Make sure you write everything in your inventory, and we'll get onto that a wee bit later, but you can never have too much in the inventory. And it must be updated between tenancies. So you can't use the same inventory for, say, 3 lots of tenancies. It must be changed after every tenancy agreement. Okay. So how is the inventory used? As I was saying before, it is the baseline condition. So that is the adjudicator's starting point. It will show the cleanliness of the property and the condition of anything within it. It's updated at the checkout to show those changes. So that will allow an adjudicator and yourselves to see if the tenant has made any deteriorations to the property, if anything's been damaged, or if anything needs cleaned. It also defines who's responsible for kind of fixing those issues. And as I was saying, it's compared by the adjudicator with your checkout report. Okay. So when should an inventory be created? Now, we always say that it should be no more than 3 days prior to that tenancy starting. But the best time to kind of do it is maybe the day before the tenancy or even the day of the tenancy, but definitely no more than 3 days before that. And this is because there's a danger if it's done too far ahead in time. As we all know, dust can gather up very quickly. So if you do it maybe 2 weeks, a week in advance, it's not going to show the true picture when the tenant moves in. If the property is not ready at the time that you're carrying out the report, you can just record it as seen, and then you can update that during the tenancy. So maybe the kitchen is being redone, it's been renovated. You can just record that kitchen as seen, and then during the tenancy, you can go back in, do an inventory of the kitchen and add that to your check-in report. We also say the person doing the inventory should be the last person in. So the way I like to describe it is imagine that it's a crime scene, you've shut the door, you've locked the door, you've put up the crime scene tape, and nobody goes back in until the tenant moves in. Okay. So cleanliness and condition. So there is a difference between the two. So something can be in good condition, but it can be unclean. Same as something can be in bad condition, but it can be clean. So you must make sure that both are recorded within your inventory. Now, there are phrases that we like and there's phrases that we don't. So the phrases that I think and I like to use are to a high professional standard and to a high domestic standard. So they're very good to use within your inventories, and the adjudicator knows exactly what that means, and it leaves less room for interpretation. Try to avoid phrases like general clean or sparkle clean, because realistically, who actually knows what they mean? I'm sure my idea of a general clean is very different to David's idea of a general clean.
Definitely is.
And as I say, a sparkle clean, it doesn't really say what it's doing. It leaves a lot of room for interpretation for the adjudicators there. So try and avoid any phrases like that. Okay. So what should the inventory cover? So as I was saying, it should literally cover everything. So everything within your property. It should show the condition versus the cleanliness. It should be contemporaneous. So as I was saying, no more than 3 days prior to the tenancy start date. The details are important. So just reiterating that point, you can never have too much within your inventory. It's better to have too much than to have too little. And I know it sounds like a lot of work and you're probably groaning right now, but trust me, come the end, you'll be very grateful. Timing is really important. So again, that just comes back to the no more than 3 days prior to the tenancy start date. And it does say there is no right or wrong format, and that is correct. There's no right way to set out an inventory. However, there is a right way to what should be in the inventory, and we'll get into that just now. So this is a real inventory that came to us and was presented to us through adjudication. Now, as you can see there, I think it's got about 3 lots of handwriting on it. I'm pretty sure the check-in was in blue and the checkout was in red. Now that was sent to us black and white, and that's what we had to give to the adjudicator. So things like that is not what we want to see. It's not going to get you very far, and the chances are, if you do end up in adjudication and that's what your inventory is looking like, you're not going to get the award that you're wanting. What we're really wanting to see is inventories that look like this. Okay, so you can see there, it's got the description of the walls, they're white and they're painted. It says that they're in good, clean condition and they're freshly painted. So that's shown to the adjudicator that they're clean, they're in good condition, they've just been painted, and obviously it shows the colour of them as well. So come the checkout, should the tenant have maybe painted it blue, should there be scratches all over the walls, it's going to show that deterioration very clearly to the adjudicator. Okay. So this is what I was saying about details, and this is where I was saying it's better to have too much than too little. So a good inventory should include all of these. So everything from your ceiling, your skirting boards, your windows, your curtains, blinds, everything should be on your inventory. And one thing that a lot of people miss out is smells. Now that's really important to record. At the start of the tenancy, you could record it as no odours present or smells fresh. Should the tenants be smoking in the property come the end and you walk into that property and you're hit with that strong smell of tobacco, you can the adjudicator, can automatically see there that there's a deterioration taking place because properties went from being free of odour to smelling of tobacco. So make sure that you do put smells down on your inventories. Okay. So photographs and videos. Now, this is kind of a sticking point for some people. Photographs are useful, but they're only useful if they're with the written word. So photographs on their own might not be that reliable, and it's really important that you put them alongside your written inventory. You should make sure that your photos are contemporaneous, so make sure that they are dated accordingly, and make sure they're relevant, and we don't want to see your holiday in Mallorca in 2012. Make sure that they're dated and labelled, and we'll show you this a wee bit later on. And make sure that they're identifiable as well, so we know exactly where that photo is and where it was taken. Now, if you are uploading videos, which we wouldn't recommend particularly, videos don't really show the property to its true kind of advantage. But if you do end up having to upload a video, make sure that you highlight the time that is relevant. Because if you upload an hour-long video and there's maybe only 2 minutes that are relevant, the adjudicator still needs to sit through that full video if it's not made clear to them when they should be seeing it. So make sure that if you do upload a video, you do put that relevant time in there. Okay. So as it says there are on occasions exceptions to this rule. So as we can see there, we have a wee statement from the landlord that says the tenants vacated the property, leaving it dirty throughout, including the carpets as they smelt. And then in brackets, they've put, please see the pictures. So I will show you these pictures that we got sent. And you can see from there that automatically the adjudicator is going to be able to see that those photographs do show the true condition of that property. So it's in instances like this that it wouldn't be as necessary to be with the written word, because that on its own kind of shows the overall view of how that property has been left. Okay. Now, these are going back to your more dated and labelled and making sure the photos are relevant. So this top photo is meant to obviously show and represent a stain in the carpet. However, it's not clear to the adjudicator where that stain is, what room that's in, and it's also not very clear just exactly how the size of that stain. So avoid kind of pictures like that, or if you are going to include pictures like that, make sure that you do put in the room that it's taken and make sure you've got the date on that as well. Now, the photo to the right of that, obviously that has been labelled. However, that label's been stuck right across that photograph. So although it has been labelled, which is what we want, it's not allowing the adjudicator to actually see the photograph and see what is wrong with the property. Okay, so maybe even put, if you are obviously sending photos, just put a wee label at the bottom of it or make it quite small at the side of it. Now, the picture of the kitchen here, that was sent to us and that was meant to show a chip on the worktop, I believe. Now, obviously, you can't really see the worktop that clearly, and that's obviously to do with distance and things. So make sure, again, that the photos are relevant to your claim, but also make sure that they're not like this last one and just straight up on top of the chip, because again, that's just the black screen that we can see there. Okay. It's not moving again. Technology, eh? So this is a perfect example of photographs that should be used, and that shows the difference between your check-in and your checkout. We can see they're taken from the same angle. We can see that the deterioration has taken place. In your left side, you can see the garden's neat, it's been cut, it's maintainable, and then on the left side, on the right hand, sorry, it's gotten a wee bit out of control. But that shows the adjudicator that deterioration there, and that'll be really good against your written word. Okay. So manage and change. So manage and change, this is to do with if any of you allow your tenants to like redecorate the property. Make sure that you specify to them exactly how you, if you do allow them, how you allow that change. So if you want it done professionally, or if there's any specific colours they can't use, if they can only do a couple of rooms, and if that property or that wall, sorry, should be returned to its original kind of colour and condition, make sure that you specify that all to the tenant, and make sure that that's all recorded. So make sure you have that in an email, just in case. And again, just be clear about any expectations. Okay. And that is us for the slides. So let me stop sharing this and stop recording it, and then we can get your questions answered. Okay.